We got a mailbag heading your way on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in. This is my favorite part of what we do here at Chat Sports. When we go live, we answer questions directly from the fans. And we're going to start it off with this one from Vikes Fan for Life, as he said, did you see the Vikings could trade for L'Jarius Sneed? Yes, I did see this report. So L'Jarius Sneed was franchise tagged by the Kansas City Chiefs, so he won't be hitting free agency. You won't be able to sign him. But USA Today actually put out a report that the Vikings have already contacted the Chiefs and have shown interest in trading for L'Jarius Sneed. And there's no doubt, L'Jarius Sneed, I mean, even in the Vikings game last season, he was great against Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. But here are stats from 2023. He had 78 tackles, 14 PBUs, and a fumble recovery. Pretty good season there out of Sneed. And then also some more coverage stats for him. He only allowed a quarterback rating of 56, and then also had a completion percentage allowed of 51.9, but no touchdowns allowed heading L'Jarius Sneed's way. But this is my take on L'Jarius Sneed. And I know a lot of people were saying, yes, let's go get L'Jarius Sneed. No doubt. He's a good football player. That's not what I'm trying to argue. He's an absolute dog. But with where the Vikings are, I am not willing to give up draft capital for a position in cornerback that, yes, it is important, but it's probably not in the top 5 most important positions on the football field as the way the NFL is starting to shake out nowadays. So, yeah, if we could sign L'Jarius Sneed or get him for an absolute steal of a deal, I'm in, but I just feel like the Chiefs' asking price for Sneed will be just a little too high. So I'm probably out. Obviously, if you could throw him a 3rd or 4th round pick, sign me up, but you're also going to have to pay the man a good amount of money as well. So I'm probably out on L'Jarius Sneed, but I'm assuming a lot of you guys are going to disagree with this. So would you trade for L'Jarius Sneed? Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down in the comments section. Really, really curious to see what you guys have to say. Coming in here, a $10 super chat from my man, Original Viking Gangsta, saying, now that Kirk is almost gone, can we stop this Kirk nonsense and get back the real Vikings news? Listen, I appreciate the super chat and everything, Original Viking Gangster, but I actually disagree with you. I think Kirk still wants to be back in Minnesota, and I think he will be back in Minnesota. I think it's just simple like this. You have a side, Kirk Cousins camp. They want him to get paid as much as they can, and they want to be back in Minnesota, no doubt. Correct? Yes. And also the Vikings, they want Kirk Cousins back 100%. They have made that very, very clear. The way Kevin O'Connell talks about him, I think when both sides want a kind of common end ground, they will find a way to do so. So what would my deal be for Kirk Cousins? I'm going to offer Kirk Cousins a 2-year, $70 million deal, fully guaranteed. And then if he says no, then I think you should move on. But that would necessarily be the deal that I offered to Kirk Cousins. So I don't know if he would accept this. I think all the smoke about him moving his family to Atlanta is just that smoke coming from his agent to drive his price up. I don't think Kirk wants to go play for the Falcons. I just really find that hard to believe. I think Kirk is comfortable in Minnesota. I think he's going to want it to work out. And I promise you this, when Kirk extends with the Minnesota Vikings, we will be going live here on the channel, and I will take my victory lap on the team-friendly deal that Kirk Cousins signs. But let's get the Bulls Nation here. As he says, Tre'Davious White just got released. Should Minnesota go after him instead of going after a corner in the draft? Great point. This actually just happened about like 30 minutes ago from when we were filming this. Trey White just got released, and definitely, I mean, the Vikings have a need for a true CB1. Obviously, Trey White is past his prime, had some big-time season-ending injuries over the past couple of seasons, but he's still a hell of a corner. And if you could go Trey White, Byron Murphy, and then Mekhi Blackman, and Caleb Evans working in there, I feel a whole lot more confident about this cornerback group than I would feel with, Byron Murphy being the true one. So Tre'Davious White, 100%. Roger Bong coming here saying, how much of the Vikings' future are you willing to spend on JJ? I'm not sure if you're talking, I'm pretty sure you're talking McCarthy on this one, Roger Bong, in terms of trading up in the draft. Let's just say we'll take 5, for example. Los Angeles Chargers. I think that's where you're going to need to trade up to go get JJ. I think you would need to give up, obviously, your 11th overall pick, your future first from next season. I also think you're going to have to give up your 2nd-round pick this year at 42nd, and then also a future 3rd. That's probably as much as I would want to give up, and also that may not be enough. I think quarterbacks should be flying off the board early, a lot earlier than most of us do expect. I could see 4 quarterbacks going in the top 5 of this draft, and then Marvin Harrison, no doubt. I would be willing to give up a first and a second and a third, and obviously our own first for this season. But good question, Roger. I really do appreciate it. Coming in here from Kwesi's Burner. What's up, Kwesi? How you doing? He says, who is a sleeper QB the Vikings could draft? I absolutely love this question because there is one guy that I absolutely love, and that is Spencer Rattler, the quarterback of South Carolina. This guy got a ton of hype coming after the Senior Bowl, and once he does have his pro day, the hype will continue because this guy's got a big-time arm. He can touch every blade of grass on the football field. Yes, there was character concerns when he was in high school in his freshman year at Oklahoma, but those have also been put to bed. That's been an old take. He was voted a captain by his teammates, and all of his teammates at the scouting combine raved about him being a leader and just an overall, good dude. So Spencer Rattler in the 3rd round, sign me up. If you don't like any of the quarterbacks in this year's draft at the top of it, and you do bring back Kirk Cousins, I would love to have Rattler sit behind Kirk for a year or two, no doubt about it. But we'll get to more questions here in a second, but I do want to tell you guys about the sweet deal we have going on. We got hoodies for 50% off. If you guys head to chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie, you guys can get hooked up today on a sweet Vikings hoodie. And listen, my favorite combination, obviously the weather is getting warmer here, but my favorite combo to wear in terms of Vikings, or in terms of just what I like to wear, is a sweatshirt and a short combo. If you guys still want to rock Vikings gear, make sure you guys check out this link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Get hooked up today. Coming in from Asher Ackley saying, do you think the Vikings will trade up? If so, what QB will they get or player? I think it's J.J. McCarthy. I think if there's a quarterback they're trading up for, it is going to be J.J. It could also be Drake May. So Josh McCown, who was just hired as the quarterback coach for Minnesota, he coached Drake May. He was his head coach in high school. Maybe Drake May starts falling in this year's draft, and he's there at 5, and the Vikings are like, you know what, screw it, Chargers, we'll send you whatever we want for Drake May. But I think the Vikings will trade up? Yes. I guarantee the Vikings will not be not guaranteed. The Vikings will not be drafting it at 11th overall. I think they're going to end up, in that top 6, top 7 range. Kicking it to Joey here is saying, what contract we re-signed Danielle Hunter for? What I said, 3 for $30 a year. See, the only thing is with giving Danielle Hunter $30 million a year, one, that's just a lot of money for an edge rusher. They'll make him one of the highest paid in the entire NFL. And I think Danielle Hunter, even though he hasn't had a ton of injuries, he has had 2 season-ending surgeries. And listen, Danielle Hunter is one of my favorite players on the Vikings. He was kind of, one of the first guys where I really fell in love with the defensive side of the football when I was growing up watching this football team, and just watching him develop was one of the most beautiful things. He was such an unorthodox pass rusher, and now he comes into the league and he is so refined. But 3 for $30 a year, I'm probably saying no on that. Coming from XQ Anime, saying the Jags just cut Darius Williams. Should the Vikings go get him? So, listen, I think the Vikings are in an interesting spot with the cornerback position. Darius Williams is 30 years old. He's got a ton of NFL experience, and I've said this, I want the Vikings to add more experience in that secondary because I do expect Harrison Smith to either be restructured or cut just to have some cap savings for Minnesota. But Darius Williams, good corner, obviously past his prime a little bit here, but to get a 30-year-old, a true veteran in that unit, I would definitely do that. Bulls Nation saying, should the Vikings go all in and get Joe Mixon? So Joe Mixon was also just cut by the Cincinnati Bengals as well. I'm probably out on him. I do think Joe Mixon is a cooked product at this point. I don't think he's the same guy that he once was. And if the Vikings are going to go running back, I'd rather have them go a different direction. Go in the draft. Or if you are going to sign a guy, go all in on a running back like Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, just give me a skull down in the comment section. Let me know where all the real ones are at. I want the comment section looking like US Bank Stadium on game day. So give me a skull. And appreciate you guys watching today's show. As always, Skull Vikes.